Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Conversations Over, recorded in one room instead of two.
Yeah, that's right. Instantaneous audio. I'm right here, guys.
I think we stated before that it's usually done in two separate rooms, otherwise this would be an unnecessary...
Yeah, it was in the very first episode we talked about the logistics of the whole thing.
Nobody listened to the first episode.
Yeah, except for maybe our one loyal listener.
Jacob, you know, let us know if you listened to that episode.
Tell us your favorite part.
Yeah, and make other people listen to it, because Lord knows we're not doing any advertising for this show.
Yeah, I actually do my best to keep it a secret. Little known fact. It's not that I'm, embarrassed per se, but a little bit.
Anyway, this week we'll be talking about our favorite kids' toys growing up, and our favorite regular people toys, I guess. And we'll be talking about the top 25, I think I narrowed it down to, kids' toys of 2020, and just kind of comparing the lists. Anyway, I'm Garrett.
I'm Tyler.
And this is not usually how we do the intro.
No, I don't think it is.
It's definitely weird being in the same room.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at him the whole time. That'll make me feel better. First and foremost, I think before we get started, we should talk about our podcast voice.
Yeah, we do definitely have podcast voice.
Should I change mine?
No, I think yours is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your podcast voice sounds like your regular voice. I feel like I definitely go into my presentation mode.
For sure. You enunciate words a lot better in podcast mode than you do normally.
Oh, if I talked normally, this would be a mess.
And it's already a mess.
Yeah, just no one would listen. Or we would get more listeners. It depends. But that's besides the point. I think I finally listened back to the trailer, and I was like, that's not what I sound like. That's not my normal talking voice. It's not like a conscious effort that I make. It's just something that I noticed. And I was like, do we all do this? Is this just a thing?
This guy's got hair.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Legos in front of us. We went to the store earlier. It was on a certain discounted holiday.
We won't tell you which one, but we will say, happy late Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy specifically day after Thanksgiving.
But you have to figure out what holiday it is. It's Boxing Day.
Unless you're not American and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, in which case...
We have 3 international listeners now. Germany, Russia, and Singapore.
Yeah, you guys are missing out, because it's a holiday about eating a lot of food. When you really narrow it down, that's all it is. People are like, oh, it's about family and being together. It's about the mashed potatoes.
It is absolutely about... We've talked about it before in the holiday episode, that it's really just about food and nothing else.
Go ahead and listen back to that if you want to.
We won't rehash it, because actually we might. We didn't really know what we were talking about.
Yeah. He walked into my room because, as previously stated, we are together. Not like a couple. Physically, I can see him. He is my brother. I am straight. Now that that's out of the way, he came into my room and he was like, how about children's toys? Because I bought us both Legos. Because I'm the bread maker.
Do you make a lot of bread?
Yeah. I'm trying to make sourdough. I've kind of been stuck with regular whole wheat.
You really need to get a starter if you're going to be making sourdough.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's all about the starter, but I just can't find one, and I'm not confident in making one just yet.
That's fair.
It's a huge commitment, and I have commitment issues. So
absolutely. Anyway, you're the breadwinner, so you got us Legos.
I got us Legos, and so I'm actually quietly building Legos right now.
We both are.
I didn't even know he was doing it. That's how quiet he is, and that proves that I'm not looking at him. I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking at the waveforms, making sure I'm picking up okay, because I don't talk loudly.
You really don't, and that becomes an issue.
That's not my strong suit.
When it comes to recording.
So, perhaps I should be louder and talk like this. This is my new podcast voice.
Just get right up on the mic.
No. It's not worth the joke to put the mic in my mouth this time. Not that I've done that before on the podcast, but in general, it happens a lot.
More often than you'd expect.
More often than you would want.
I'm certainly glad I have my own headset.
Yeah, well, it's never in my mouth.
It's pretty close, though.
It's definitely close, but it's not like I'm swallowing it. We can cut this part out, or you guys can just... I'm going to need someone that listens to this podcast to reach out and tell me how often you hear me say, cut that out. Because I don't really listen back, but I feel like he definitely doesn't listen when I ask him to cut something out.
Look, Jacob's not a good editor. That's not my fault.
Yes, Jacob edits these.
Jacob, while we're talking directly to you, if you've listened to the last episode, you haven't accepted our invite yet, consider it revoked.
No, Jacob, you're still welcome anytime. We need the material, quite frankly.
Specifically, I want to clarify, you're not welcome anytime. You're welcome when we're recording the podcast to help us record the podcast. Otherwise, it's kind of unnecessary.
No, I feel like if you ever want to sit down and chat with us,
we'll record it and monetize it.
Is this monetized?
No, we should set that up while we're here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you like been making money off of this? And
No,
you're not
absolutely
sharing it?
not. I have checked every week to see if we've made money, and we haven't.
I'm sure we'll make pennies to the dollar. Not that we invested any money into this. We bought a microphone with the gift card
Last year.
last year for the unnamed podcast,
Yeah, did that ever have a name?
the Tagcast, I think.
Oh, that's a good name. We wasted it.
No, it's not wasted. They would never know. We could just change. The
Welcome to
numbers.
the Tagcast.
Hey, I'm Tyler.
I'm Garrett.
No, it's gotta be okay.
It's gotta be and Garrett. You're right.
I'm
It's
Tyler.
And Garrett.
This is the Tagcast.
Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
This week on the first ever Tagcast, we're gonna be talking about
Kids' toys. Who the hell needs them? Just put them outside.
when I was a child. That's why I went outside, and that's how I had fun.
I've gotten 5 concussions. You think I'd do all of those inside?
How many
No.
did you get inside? 2? 3?
2. So, okay.
The swimming pool was inside.
No, I didn't get a concussion from a swimming pool. Oh.
Never confirmed.
Yeah, I guess I did hit myself in the face pretty hard.
The majority of your concussions took place inside.
No.
Send your kids outside. It's safer.
It's safer outside. And give them helmets.
Definitely give them helmets.
If they're doing anything remotely dangerous, make them wear a helmet. Sure, they'll look like a dork, and I'll make fun of them if I see them. But they'll be safer.
And honestly, you should be letting him around your children anyway.
Yeah.
He's a stranger.
Nope, okay. I was going another
There's no
place.
specific reason you shouldn't let him buy your
I'm
children.
not on a registry, okay? I'm not on a list somewhere that you should Google. I don't even like kids, okay?
Kids are terrible.
Let alone like them too much, you know?
Yeah, the one time I might be too good at my job doesn't come into play is when you're going to be a babysitter. You definitely shouldn't say, my greatest weakness is maybe I love it too much.
Yeah,
That's a good way to not get a job.
we didn't do a clap sync. There's usually a clap sync at the beginning of these, but we're not syncing any audio. This is just one file. You want to clap?
Will it make you feel better?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And that's how the podcast usually starts for our editor.
Yeah, so guys, by the way, that's going to be really fucking loud.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm not.
There's a countdown. If you didn't take your headphones off, it's really on you more than it is on us.
Consider yourself aptly warned. You chose not to remove the headphones. You chose not to crank down the volume.
Besides that first clap, which we didn't tell you anything about and Tyler just kind of did on his own.
That was thunder.
Yeah, it's raining.
Not worth it.
It's an audio show. They'll never know.
Yeah. Back to this pizza. Eileen pepperoni?
Ew.
Sausage?
No.
Okay. So the first toy we have on the list, let's pull it up right now as we speak. Wow, it's a peekaboo Cookie Monster, and boy oh boy, is he scary.
So first of all, I want to say that we're on goodhousekeeping.com. So if you hate our list or you love it, goodhousekeeping.com. It's technically the 50 best toys of 2020, but considering we're already 10 minutes in and we just started, I figured 50 was a little bit too much to go on.
And we might skip some if I don't like them.
Which honestly, we should have probably skipped this first one.
Yeah.
Peekaboo Cookie Monster.
But here's the thing, right? I used to be a big Elmo fan back
Absolutely.
when I was a wee lad. And I feel like this is trying too hard to replicate that. Like, it looks just like him, except he's blue. And he's holding a cookie. And I get they're from the same show, like they're like coworkers or whatever. But I feel like Elmo definitely should be...
I think they're neighbors. Because it's Sesame Street.
They work on the same show. They're not real.
The street's not real?
No, none of this is. They're puppets. It's a model.
No, they're Muppets.
I don't know the difference.
A puppet is a toy and a Muppet is real.
Oh shit! Okay.
That's what Kermit the Frog said.
I need to apologize to the Elmo that I met. I thought it was like a guy in a suit. You're telling me that was like a real...
A Muppet is a...
I need to make some phone calls.
We're going to take a brief intermission so Tyler can make some phone calls.
Yeah. Let me find this fucking piece, actually.
So I'm going to talk a little bit louder while Tyler tries to find a Lego piece.
While he's on the phone.
Yeah, while Tyler's on the phone making these Muppet calls. So Peekaboo Cookie Monster, I'm not going to read the actual description, but this list provided by goodhousekeeping.com has a few features that are really nice. First of all, it tells you can get it on Amazon.com, which is not something we could do when we were kids. When we were kids, you might get a catalog in the mail that gave you some Christmas gift ideas, but mostly you just went to Toys R Us, and you're like, hey, Mom, I like that one. And maybe she'd pick it up right then in front of you. Maybe you'd get it Christmas morning, or maybe everyone would forget by the time you left the store. And, I mean, that's what Christmas was.
Yeah, actually, a huge part of Christmas shopping for us, we would go to, like, the BX or the mall or, like, Target and pick up the catalogs. And we would, like, circle the toys that we wanted. And then we would be tasked with, like, basically staying with a babysitter who was usually just a family friend. And our parents would sneak off and buy pretty much everything in one fell swoop. And they would hide it.
They're great at Christmas, honestly. I think part of it is, as children and now as adults, we don't feel the urge to ruin Christmas magic.
Yeah, I feel like that's never... Like, you'll see it all the time. Like, it's, like, in media. And I'm sure it happens in real life, too.
On TV.
People... That's what media is.
Well, mostly on TV, because people don't like reading news articles about people stealing their Christmas toys.
You ever hear about the Grinch? Boy, howdy.
That's not a... Is that a news alert? Is that all real?
Yes.
Do I need to make some phone calls?
Yes.
Shit.
Well, you tell me you didn't know that Whoville was, like, down the street?
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Mary Lou Who, if you're listening, I'm sorry I called you a basic bitch.
He's not sorry, it's kind of true.
I didn't know you were real at the time. Now that I know you're real, Mary Lou Who, I'd like to let you know that I think you're a basic bitch.
Okay, I was gonna give you some real slack there. Slack, that's not the word I want. What's the word I want?
Please join us for a brief intermission while we figure out what word Tyler's
welcome to what word does Tyler want to use?
Scolding?
No. It's like lax. It has that sound to it.
I was going to give you some real...
Yeah, you're the English major. Help me out here.
Some real what? Describe the word.
Like,
define
so basically like a scolding. I was going to give you shit for it. But an intelligent way to say that.
You know, I couldn't tell you.
Well, what an English major.
I could tell you it's not lax, and it's certainly not slack.
I was gonna cut you some slack. That's like the opposite.
That's
not what I want to do.
The opposite of what you want to say.
But I was gonna call you out.
Okay, that works.
For like talking behind her back, but then you called her a bitch to her face. I didn't listen. That might have been what you said. So I respect that a lot. I don't think she listens to the podcast.
Probably not. Only 48 people have ever listened.
But yes, back to the topic at hand.
Holidays.
It's the holidays. Okay. Ruining Christmas was not something that we ever tried to do. I just, personally, I never had the urge. I never even considered it.
It just wasn't something that we felt was necessary, because Christmas is a joyful season, and why ruin that for anyone, especially yourself? I mean, if you ignore the fact that you're ruining that kind of joy that your parents and other people get from seeing you open something and enjoy it and react to it, you kind of ruin the holiday for yourself if you know what you're going to get, I think. I've always felt that way.
Yeah, I feel like the people that try and peek at their Christmas gifts are the same people who try not to get scared at a haunted house. I feel like part of the whole experience is going and just like wanting to be surprised.
Right, it's why you're there.
And it doesn't make sense to try and like beat the system in a way and like get around that. I don't like it.
So anyway, that's Peekaboo Cookie Monster. Like Tyler said, comparably, he did like Elmo as a child. I don't know ahead of time what ages this will be for. This one specifically says ages 18 months plus. So if you're 17 out there, don't be surprised if you find this in your stocking, because there's no upper age limit.
I don't think this would be in a stocking. I think this is rather large.
Okay, we'll move on.
Let's see, number 26, Rainbow Jelly Surprise Creation Kit. We're going to skip this one because I don't want to look at it.
No, I think we should talk about it a little bit, right?
I feel like this is kind of a new trend.
It is kind of new, but at the same time, we saw it a little bit in like Halloween. There was like the make your own bugs.
Yeah.
And remember, when we were in Alaska, we got the alien building kit.
I do remember.
For Christmas. So it's interesting to see that it's still kind of around. And it's, from the look of this one JPEG that goodhousekeeping.com has provided with it seems it's gotten a lot cuter.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of changing its target audience. If it used to be like
boys,
boy, because it was supposed to be like gross and slimy, and it was like bugs and aliens and like,
because that's what boys liked.
Yes,
allegedly.
Yeah, we can have a whole podcast about gender norms and why I think they're stupid.
But that's not this one.
Could be.
Rainbow Jelly Surprise Creation Kit, ages 6+. It'll cost you $20 on Amazon. I'm not gonna recommend it.
Yeah, so let me just. They're like different animals, I think. There's like it could be a unicorn. There's like a little fox. There's a koala. That's the only one I know for sure.
There's an elephant out there.
Is that what that one is?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was like a weird dog.
It could be a weird dog.
Elephants are just weird dogs. Change my mind.
Absolutely correct.
Change my mind.
Anything else to say about this?
No, not really.
All right, let's move on. Next up, we've got Funkoverse. Golden Girls Expand-A-Lone. So this is a new thing Funko is trying to do. Funko obviously makes pop figures, for those of you out here who don't know. And they've started this new strategy game called the Funkoverse, and there's all sorts of packs for basically anything, if Golden Girls teaches us anything. Oh, we've got a list here. Thank you, Good Housekeeping. Tells us there's also a Harry Potter, DC Superheroes, Dr. Ian Malcolm, and a Rick and Morty set. So, ages 10+. Obviously, some of that is more adult. I don't know why children would want a Golden Girls version, per se. I don't know a lot about the Funkoverse, but I will say, collectible games, I'm not into it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who are into Funko Pops are in it for the collections, and they won't even open the box, let alone play with it. And so I feel like it's definitely an interesting approach. Maybe they're trying to attract a younger audience with this board game version. But I gotta agree with you. It's kind of a weird choice, especially Golden Girls. Although Golden Girls has like a cult following.
Yeah, but not a lot of that cult is children.
I think lots of cults are composed of mainly children.
That's fair. All right, let's move on. Next up, we have Silly Spaghetti by Hape. It says, I'm going to read the whole description because I'm not really sure what this is.
Can I read it?
Yeah, absolutely. Please use your podcast.
Pretend food is always so much fun, but it's hard to reduce spaghetti into kid kitchen form. Hape has perfected play pasta with its Silly Spaghetti. You can bend, twist, and shape the felt-covered strands into crazy contortions, then clip on protein, veggies, and even a face. The set comes with 13 pieces. These are pipe cleaners, guys.
Ages 3+.
These are pipe cleaners.
They're $45.
For $45, you can go to the craft store, you can get googly eyes and pipe cleaners, and you can make this thing yourself.
This didn't exist when we were children, and it shouldn't exist now.
Yeah, that's my phone going off. I'm popular, guys. Felt-covered wires. Yeah, sounds like a pipe cleaner.
It's a pipe cleaner.
I remember back in grade school, back in primary school, we had lots of little art projects to do with pipe cleaners.
Absolutely.
That's what this is, and they're charging you $45 for it when you can get like a bag of 3,000 for like $1, I feel like.
Don't fall for it, folks. Next.
Hocus Pocus the game.
All right, so I want to say up front that Hocus Pocus is another thing that has a cult following, and I never got into it.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus it's a Disney Halloween movie, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely on Disney Plus, right? I also never was really into it.
Also, can we talk a little bit about a cooperative board game?
I think it's a great idea. I feel like board games can be very polarizing and can tear people apart. And I feel like having, like, a Pandemic is a really popular
Cooperative
board game where you're, like, working against the clock. I feel like that's a good idea, especially in these times.
All right. Well, I don't think we have much more to say about Hocus Pocus the game because we didn't... I mean, we did fall victim at least once to... There's a popular thing, we made a board game of it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So, shoot, dude. We had Cars, the board game. We've had a Ben 10 board game. We had a Tamagotchi board game. There was more than one instance, it seems.
We got Nerf Gun the board game.
Nerf Gun the board game. We were just at the store earlier, and there was a Princess Bride the board game, and we were like, ooh. Was there a specific one you wanted, or were you just like asking me to list?
Mostly Ben 10 the board game.
Ben 10 the
because
board
we've
game.
gotten at least 2 Ben 10 the board games.
I love Ben 10.
Ben 10 is great. So I guess I get it. Maybe not for Hocus Pocus, because I've never seen the movie, and I've got no desire to play the board game.
Right. I think we're just not the target audience for that one, but I feel like it's a good choice if you like Hocus Pocus.
And it's only $20, so...
That's chump change.
That's a good game.
Okay.
Moving on.
Maybe not chump change. I respect everyone and their financial abilities.
Shape Factory. Every kid gets a shape sorter at some point, but they can really only do one thing with it. Match the correct shape to the correct slot. With Fat Brain Toys Shape Factory, one push of the orange button twists the top half of the sorter, which changes the shapes of all the slots. Now kids have to hunt for the right shape and the right slot, making it more of a challenge for those little brains. Ages 2+. Okay, let's start with the obvious, which is there's no more cliched toy for children than a shape sorter.
And I feel like if you're trying to spice it up, there's a board game that already does that, where there's a timer going, and when the timer reaches 0, the whole board pops,
Kazoo?
explodes. I don't know the name of it. We also had this board game, but essentially you had to match the shapes and try and get as many in before it popped. And I feel like just that time crunch is a more realistic preparation for kids than, say, like, oh, it changed spots. Nah, if you're trying to get them ready for the real world, this is not it.
Okay, so we don't know the name of the game, but everyone has heard of it for sure. It's a classic kids toy.
Yeah, and if you're trying to spice it up and get something different, do it right and get that. It sounds better.
$25? That's a ripoff. We're gonna move on. Monopoly House Divided. Okay. I think Monopoly that isn't base Monopoly, get the fuck out of here.
Those are some strong words. I feel like,
with the exception of Novelty Monopoly.
Can you explain what you mean by Novelty Monopoly?
By Novelty Monopoly, I mean the gameplay is the same, but you get a fun new board. Right. So, like Star Wars Monopoly.
Yes.
We have Eagles, the football team Monopoly, which is more of a collector's item, but it's still Monopoly.
Yeah, if there's one Monopoly where you can like build your own path. There's like Express Monopoly. The credit card Monopoly isn't bad because it's the same thing. It's just
you don't have to keep money scores.
Yeah, it's just easier to keep track of all the stuff. So I think that's actually might be like the top tier Monopoly just because it's less pieces.
Certainly.
But I totally agree. If you're trying to change up the gameplay and shit, and you like add these like wacky cards, it's not Monopoly anymore.
For instance, this seems to be a political Monopoly game.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You should not bring politics into family game night.
People already get broken up over Monopoly. This is one of...
Don't teach your children politics. Let teachers do that the right way.
by slyly manipulating them to see it their way.
Until they're broken husks of who they used to be and more cogs in the machine. Just let that happen. Worked great for us.
Yeah, I think we turned out fine.
Let's move on. Marvel Villainous Infinite Power.
Your kids are probably already obsessed with the Disney Villainous board game series.
Which we're not. We've never heard of them.
We just saw this in the store. I didn't look into it. It sounded cool. So if you know what Villainous is, I guess this is just another spin-off of it. If they're more into superheroes than Disney movies, Marvel Villainous may be more in their wheelhouse. Players can choose to be Thanos, Hela, Ultron, or one of two other secret Marvel villains.
It looks like it's Taskmaster and Killmonger. Sorry if I ruined the surprise for you.
Yeah, I don't know if Taskmaster would be the correct choice. It definitely looks like him, but I feel like it's...
And that's definitely Killmonger.
I feel like it's based off of the movies.
Yes, certainly.
And Taskmaster has not been in a movie yet.
He's
the main villain.
Well, spoiler alert.
Ah!
He's the main villain in Black Widow.
I guess we did warn him.
Yes.
Twice, because I screamed.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you weren't ready for it, sucks to suck.
It's like the clap again. Not the disease, the clap, which we're not going to discuss on this or any podcast.
Never.
But specifically the time we clapped earlier in the episode. Anyway, this game, it could be fun. It definitely looks cool. The tokens are very neat.
Yeah.
The box design is good. It's $35, which is not a bad price for a new board game.
No, and I'm not sure how long the Black Friday deals are. We talked about this holiday earlier. It's supposed to be a secret.
Fuck.
I don't know how long those deals are going on, but if you go to Target, all of their board games are 50% off, and I feel like it's going on for at least a little while.
It'll probably be all week, if not the rest of the month.
Which I think is excellent.
Certainly. Anything else to say about... this is more franchise board games.
Yeah.
Which we've decided we're pro, I think?
Franchise board games? Yeah. I feel like if you're interested in, like, these Marvel villains or, like, the Disney villains or whatever, I feel like board games are great because it really gets the family sitting down together and talking and conversing more so than being on a screen.
And while screens are fine if you can't do anything else, it's fun. Just even the novel idea, if you have slightly older children, this is for ages 12 plus, but if your kids are in the upper teens or even a little bit older, and they're past that... Sorry, there's a car going by.
Wow.
Past that sort of I hate my parents phase that some children just go through because they're terrible.
And some never grow out of.
Certainly. If they've gotten through that, I think even ironically they'll enjoy... Well, they'll say it's ironic for their friends. They'll enjoy playing board games as a family.
Absolutely. And maybe that's because we have a really weird family dynamic going on. But there are board games... It's just kind of turning into a board game podcast. But there are board games directed towards older children and young adults and even older adults. One of my favorite board games is Risk, which is by no means a children's game.
It's a great game, though.
But it's one of, if not, my absolute favorite board game.
So don't be afraid to play a board game with your family. It's not really what we decided this podcast was going to be about, but it's a good sentiment. Let's move on. Should we skip a few? I don't know how we're doing on
we'll
time.
Just read them out. Skip it.
Treasure X Sunken Gold Treasure Ship. Find Things in Dirt has never been a toy I really liked. We're going to move on. Make Me Over Challenge.
Nope.
It's good for your daughters to
or
know
your
that...
Or your sons.
Well, I'm just playing to the stereotypes that they played to.
Okay.
It's good to know and teach your daughters that they're really only valuable if they're pretty. So definitely get this game off of Amazon. Next. Helping Heroes Fire Station. This is a fun little display toy. You know the type. You get the hideout and you put the little guys in it.
This is a dollhouse for boys.
It is.
They're just...
They've always existed, and...
Absolutely. They just take on a weird front with them. We used to... It wasn't really a dollhouse, but I guess it kind of was. And it was a similar style to these as well, but it would come in like separate little pieces and walls, and I don't know the official name for it, but you could like build kingdoms and stuff.
Probably some Imaginext build your own headquarters random kind of thing. But don't limit your children to gendered toys. I know that I've played it already sarcastically. I've been making fun of the makeover challenge, but it's important for children to play with toys and just play with what they enjoy. Don't bully your kids into only playing with boy toys or only playing with girl toys. Like, we had our action figures and we'd put them in Build-A-Bear houses back when Build-A-Bears came in houses.
Yeah, we would like hang strings.
We would make the headquarters, the Build-A-Bear toys.
Yeah, we would have like zip lines and stuff between them. We also had Build-A-Bears.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with that, don't be a parent. We're going to move on.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Lego Creator 3-in-1 Monster Burger Truck. I want this now.
Yeah, I love Legos. It's a good way to get you...
It's a Monster Burger Truck. Look at that.
Working with your hands. This is a 3-in-1, so it's going to have like different transformations, I believe.
Yes.
But I feel like Legos are one of the best gifts you can get someone of any age.
They are a little expensive.
That's true. But like as they get older, you can move from like the generic Legos to like the superhero, or if they're into Harry Potter, you can get them those. You can really tailor it to their...
Legos even have car deals now. They have architecture. And they've even started a collectible set where they can sort of build their own memorabilia from movies. And it's a cool way to collect something and also play with it. And, I mean, who doesn't like building something? And if you are a little wary of the cost, I think 3-in-1 is definitely the way to go because they can have a little bit more fun with it than they could just building something one time. Unless they're already to that stage where they kind of like the niche Legos.
Yeah, there's also the option of just getting them. I'm sure you could find, if you go to like garage sales, which is dangerous at this time of the year, or like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or what have you, you can find just people selling like buckets and buckets of Legos from their childhood. And sure, it's not going to have instructions or like a concrete idea of what to build, but it'll really help them use their imagination.
And that's part of the fun, really.
And that's one of the best parts of Legos, I feel like, it's just being able to make whatever you want.
So get your kids Legos. We definitely had them as kids. We literally bought them today.
Well,
Tyler bought them today. There's nothing wrong with having fun. Legos. Been great since they came out in the 50s?
I have no idea. I've never looked into the history of Legos.
We could look into it, but we're not going to. So find out for yourself. Look into the Legos. Barbie Color Reveal Slumber Party Fun.
It's a long-ass name. Basically, Barbie fans already know about Barbie Color Reveal. We're not Barbie fans, so we don't know. Where it all becomes obscured and painted in a monochromatic color, and it's revealed when dipped in warm water.
Interesting.
Now kids can get even more surprises. Color Reveal Slumber Party Fun Set. Jesus.
Comes with 35 goodies to unbox, including a Barbie doll, a Chelsea doll, and a pet, along with PJs, snacks, and other fun things you'll need for a sleepover. The whole thing comes packaged in what looks like a paint can. Isn't that fun? Keeping with the Color Reveal theme, ages 3+.
I feel like this is a great cop-out gift. If, so say you're buying for someone else, and you don't know what exactly, like what kind of Barbie they want. They say they want a Barbie.
This is what you get them.
Yeah, because that way you can be like, oh, it's a mystery. It'll be fun to reveal it. And they can't be upset that you bought them the wrong one. Maybe they can if they're like bratty about it.
But then take it back.
But then you're getting them the wrong dolls, am I right?
We didn't high five there.
We copped out of a high five because...
It wasn't a good joke.
Well, no, it was a fine joke. That wasn't the problem.
What was the problem?
The problem was waveforms. We don't want to scare people away.
Right. We already clapped twice. So, look. Hot Wheels did this when we were kids, and we got them because we thought it was cool. So if this is something your kid thinks is cool, let them enjoy it. As someone who is now 20 years old, I can see that this is dumb. But let your kids enjoy what they want to enjoy.
I think this isn't actually that bad of an idea. I feel, especially in today's society, collecting is a huge thing.
We live in a society.
We do live in a society. collecting is a huge part of like fan culture, I guess, these days. And this is a fun way to get them started, like buying like mystery packs.
All right. Trying to move on here. Little Friends Vacation Camper Playset. Just a generic kind of toy for your kids. Nothing wrong with it. It's $50, so it's kind of expensive. Oh, but it's motorized, so I guess that makes a little bit of sense. We can move on. Unless you want to talk about how much you like RC cars.
RC cars are fantastic, but that wasn't an RC car, I don't think.
It was motorized.
Nah. Nerf Halo.
This is what matters.
MA40 motorized dart blaster. I would go out and buy this today. If I saw this at the store, I'd have been like,
it's $50.
Heck yes. I make money. Who cares?
Okay, fair enough.
I have my own money to spend as an adult.
Yep. He does, folks.
Nerf guns are really fun.
They're great.
Don't. Okay.
Okay. Oh, don't get your kids Nerf Mega Blasters.
Those bullets are 4 inches long. And like 2 inches in diameter.
If you've ever seen an actual 50 caliber rifle cartridge,
you're close.
They're almost the same size. And that's too big to shoot at a child.
And they hurt. Like, they come out quick.
So Nerf Mega Blasters and Nerf Rivals are a great way to continue having Nerf fun when you're a little bit more of an adult and when you're a teenager. Do not get them for children. But other than that, Nerf is great. I mean, it's Nerf or nothing. It really is. And they're quality toys.
Let's bring back Nerf swords.
Let's bring back Nerf swords. We wanted to get them when we were kids. Our parents said we couldn't have them because they were too dangerous. Granted, we did go to a park and met some friends there, and one of them left crying because they brought their Nerf swords and said we could play with them.
They weren't friends, they were strangers. We made strangers cry.
But they had Nerf swords and we were kids and they were kids, and that made them our friends.
That's true.
Because we wanted to play with what they had.
You know what? That's a good mentality to have. Strangers are just friends you haven't made yet, unless they're adults and you're a kid.
Or you're an adult and they're kids.
Yes, then you're a pedophile. We talked about pedophilia earlier.
We said we wouldn't.
No, we said we wouldn't talk about gonorrhea. Chlamydia, I think. Which one of them is the clap?
I think gonorrhea is the
I think
clap.
Gonorrhea is the clap. I know someone...
Chlamydia wouldn't be, because it's not double C's.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. I know someone...
with gonorrhea.
Who got gonorrhea. They're clear now.
Holy shit. Oh, no! Okay, we're not going to talk about the clap anymore. We've already talked about it more than I said we would.
We can cut all this out.
We're not going to.
We peaked the microphone like 5 times there, so just...
Yeah, well, I'll look into it, whatever. Next up, we have Paw Patrol Dino Rescue Dino Patroller.
So, here's the thing with Paw Patrol.
Kids like it.
Kids do like it. It got some flack.
Because they have
Flack!
Flack!
Sorry about that. It got some flack because of the whole Black Lives Matter ACAB movement.
Defund the police.
And the main character
is a police
dog. That's a whole political issue. I don't want to get into it.
First of all, it shouldn't have been a political issue because it is a fake dog who talks, wears a uniform, and drives vehicles. But let's just not get into it.
Yeah, it was an issue nonetheless. That being said, Paw Patrol is one of, if not the most popular children's animated TV shows. And I feel like if someone's into Paw Patrol, they would love this.
So get it for your kids. I mean, we were all kids and we all liked what we liked, toy-wise. And so let's get on to the next toy.
Star Wars The Child Animatronic Edition. That's called a mind meld, guys. We're that in sync. So this is Baby Yoda. I guess he's technically called The Child. I've not watched Mandalorian.
He is, yeah.
This is honestly...
This one doesn't look very well made.
I was going to say it looks fine. I was going to say this is probably a decent gift.
If your kids like Lego.
For even like an older audience that's into The Mandalorian. I don't know why you said Lego. I think you got Legos on the mind.
Did I say Lego?
You definitely did.
Well, I meant to say Star Wars.
Yeah, if they're into Star Wars, if they're into Mandalorian, I mean, go ahead. I mean...
There's not much else to be said
here.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
There were definitely gimmick toys like this when we were kids too.
Yeah, anything that's released is going to have like the cute character that everyone falls in love with, and they're going to
We were never fans of gimmick toys.
release them.
I don't think.
Not that I can recall either. So,
All right. Guess we'll move on then.
moving on. Botley 2.0, the coding robot.
This is kind of neat.
This is a fantastic little gift if you're trying to get your children into STEM, or if your kids are interested in STEM, I should say. I feel like you shouldn't push your kids
No, absolutely
in any
not.
direction. I also feel like we're in no place to give advice on parenting because we're
We're not parents.
children. However, that being said, so basically what this looks like, judging solely on the picture, I'm not even going to read the description. It looks like it's just a nice little block coding exercise. It comes with a little robot you can get and a remote, and the remote has inputs for you, and you can just build a little chain and then you can execute it or have it loop.
It seems to have more features than I anticipated, because it says you can stack blocks and knock them over, which is kind of interesting. It's a neat little toy if your kids are interested in sort of learning more. But like you said, don't force your kids into anything. But I like... Our brother really enjoyed robots when he was a wee lad. And I think he would have liked this when he was younger. 4 or 5, maybe.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's for a younger audience, and
It definitely is.
Oh, he's just fiving up. It says at the bottom, guys. The thing I said I wasn't going to read, he made me do it.
Bamboozled.
Yeah, I would say this looks fine. You can get a Lego Mindstorm set, which, it's coming back to Legos somehow. And it's like $300, but it's way more in-depth, and it comes with like a program you put on your computer.
If you're a rich aunt or uncle, that would be a really cool toy to get your niece or nephew.
But if you just don't want to spend $300, this one's $52, and I would say it's honestly probably worth it. It looks like they would enjoy this.
All right. I don't know.
What number are we on, by the way?
I was just going to ask you that.
43.
51. So we've got 8 or 9 more.
For real friends.
They came out when we were kids, and I didn't like them then, and I don't care for them now.
Yeah, it's like a Mama Josie. The
If your
kangaroo.
kids liked the weird, terrifying dolls when they were babies, get them the weird, terrifying kangaroo now that they're slightly older. That's all I'm going to say about it. Next up, we have Scooby-Doo Adventure in the Mystery Mansion Playhouse.
This is another playhouse, which I think is fantastic, especially if, with your kids being home with like this pandemic and like online schooling and stuff, playhouses are a fantastic way to get them interacting, I guess, and not just like staring at a screen. It's more immersive, and Scooby-Doo
It's fun.
fantastic.
What's
This
new
is
Scooby-Doo?
a little pricey.
This is very pricey. I did see that as well.
But
This is the latest model, so...
yes, this is like the brand new Scooby-Doo.
Which, let's be honest, isn't as good as old Scooby-Doo anyway.
Absolutely not.
So get them, if you can find one, an old Scooby-Doo Playmobil toy.
Which we had, by the way.
Fantastic toys.
We definitely had an old
Here we
mystery
are.
machine.
We met Build Your Own Castles, and here we have Imaginext DC Super Friends Super Surround Batcave. It's a little more involved than what we would have had, because it has surround sound for some reason and LED lights. But it's the same general idea, and it's not just for boys, it's for boys and girls and other children. And we don't have to gender children or toys. Fisher-Price makes it. It's reliable, it's fun, and just because it says you have to use Fisher-Price toys, trust me, your kids won't. They will have Hot Wheels in there. We're speaking from experience.
Yeah, or like little Lego people. It really, looking at the style of this, it was definitely Imaginext that we had
Absolutely.
growing up. But we would just go to the Airman's Attic and pick them up because people... That's kind of like a thrift store for Air Force bases. Like, I didn't realize that growing up, but like that's exactly what it is.
That
Looking
is
back at
absolutely
it.
what it is.
And so people, like when they were moving and they didn't want to bring it with, they would just drop their stuff off there, and you could get them for really cheap, if not free. And it was just fantastic. Like I said, it's another way to really flex the imagination a little bit.
And again, could be expensive because it's got a lot of weird new things in it. But, you know what they look like, and you can find them at Goodwill for a lot cheaper, and your kids will still have fun. Just make sure you clean them first.
You don't want to give your kids gonorrhea.
Left feet. Went full loop there. All right, KidCraft Alexa 2-in-1 Kitchen and Market.
Holy shit!
It's $300. Well, first of all, you should just get your kid, if you're gonna spend $300 on them, get them Lego Firestorm because that's a lot cooler.
Mindstorm.
Mindstorm.
That sounds cool.
Lego Firestorm. You take the Legos, you douse them with gasoline, and you throw them at kids. You can only do it once. But it's an experience.
It's payback for all the times you left them on the floor and you stepped on them. I think this is a great idea. Next. Okay, so basically what this is a
play kitchen.
Do you know when you go to like a daycare, like a nicer daycare, like elementary school, and they have like the fake oven and like the little cash register? That's this for your house, and for some reason Alexa is involved.
And it has RFID chips, which create actual sounds and interactions with the toys when they put on the fake pots, when they start the fake water, which is cool, but also very expensive. If you're cool with having robots in your home and you have a lot of money, this is not a bad gift for a kid.
Yeah, this looks pretty solid. As a young adult living on my own now, I really wish I had gotten more into cooking. And I feel like, obviously, if the kid's a little too young to actually help you out in the kitchen, this is a good way to get them interested. I feel like definitely get them started at a young age, and that'll help them...
When they're becoming adults, really.
Yeah, and not only help them with, like, learn how to cook, but also, if they're interested in cooking, they're more likely to eat healthy.
And it could give them something to be passionate about.
Yes, striking passion is always important for children.
And cooking, I mean, everyone needs to do it. So
yeah,
this is a good way to
cook.
Get them into it. All right. We didn't have any play kitchens, to my knowledge, did we?
No, I definitely feel like we didn't. My favorite toy growing up was, again, from the Airman's Attic. We got a lot of our toys because we didn't care, and we still don't. I mean, honestly, we will play with anything. You just make the most out of it. It helps when you have like built-in friends because you have brothers or sisters. I mean,
spend time with your siblings.
Yes.
Definitely.
There are two kids in this picture, so there you go. But
they're probably not related because they're from a modeling agency.
They could be, though. Anyways, we had a Millennium Falcon.
We did have a Millennium Falcon.
We weren't even in Star Wars, but we had a Millennium Falcon. It had like retractable landing gear, and I think we had like a Luke Skywalker, who obviously he doesn't fly the Millennium Falcon. We didn't know that we were kids. Shut up, Jacob.
We put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in there too.
That's true.
Michelangelo, even if he found the Millennium Falcon, could not fly it because he's an idiot.
Is he the dumb one?
Yes, he's the one who wears orange, which is stupid because he's green and those colors do not go well together.
Orange and green are complementary colors.
According to science.
Yeah.
What is science now?
We can't see either of them, guys. That's the fun part.
Dab on them.
But yeah, we had this little Millennium Falcon, and we would it was me. I would like fly it all over the place and just really have fun.
Because it was a great toy.
It was really good. Top tier.
It's not really related to what we were looking at.
No, well, yeah, we didn't have
a kitchen. We'll move on. We'll talk about toys later.
Guys, we had a kitchen.
My apologies. We didn't have a play kitchen.
There you go.
When we wanted to bake our Play-Doh, we put it in the real oven, and we caused house fires.
We never caused house fires, but I did light a couple microwaves on fire.
And a toaster.
Do you remember the toaster we had in North Dakota?
That would just shoot shit into the air? That was my favorite toaster.
The springs were too tight, and so you would pop it down, and then when it was ready, it would launch. And I'm talking like bang against the bottom of the cabinet above it if it was pushed under there.
All right, next up we have Ghostbusters PSA Mega Mighty's Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Another gimmick toy. This one is for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who wasn't even in the reboot of the Ghostbusters. Which, if you're going to show your kids the Ghostbusters, don't show them the reboot.
Yeah, I've not seen it, but I've heard nothing but terrible things about it. And, like, sure, it was recast with all women in the lead
That's not
roles.
the problem.
That's not the problem. It's just a bad movie, guys.
The writing's not good. There's too many stereotypes. And there's no Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So,
who is arguably the best part of the movie?
Easily the best part of the movie. He explodes at the end. Spoiler alert. It's been out for a while, so
guys,
it doesn't count.
I've never seen this movie.
There's also Hellhounds, which is cool. Bill Murray is in it. Anyway, Ghostbusters. Go watch it, but not the remake. We didn't have Marshmallow Man as kids.
Wait, I would like to... So I was just glancing through this to see if it would give us any insight.
Did you see the typo?
There's a typo. Good housekeeping. Hire me as an editor and I will fix this typo. Until that happens, I will expose you. Here, let me read it verbatim. Sure, there's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out in the future, but longtime fans know...
You heard that right, folks. Longtime fans.
But longtime fans know it'll never get better than the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. This one changes its facial expressions at the push of a button and is sized for preschool hands. There you go. Sized for preschool hands, not preschool mouths. I don't think this is a joking hazard.
Anything's a choking hazard if you give it to a child.
Anything's a joking hazard if you give it to me and say, I'll pay you $1 if you eat this.
Anyway, that's how you kill Tyler, if you're interested.
Poison.
Poison is your best option.
I'll get $1.
We'll make sure we add it to your state.
Good. You're not in my will, by the way.
Excellent. Next on the list.
I don't have a will yet. Should I?
More Ghostbusters.
Ooh.
I'm starting to think maybe Hasbro paid Good Housekeeping to put their toys at the top of the list, because not only did we have 2 Ghostbusters in the top 5, but neither of them have actually been released yet. So Hasbro is doing some pre-advertising.
Oh, this might have been released. This could be an old list. It says it's expected to release in the fall or winter of 2020, which is right now. So this is basically a little proton pack, which is like, I guess, they're like vacuum and stuff.
It's a backpack. That doesn't look very useful.
No, it looks fun. Me and my friend Kenta used to run around playing soldiers or whatever.
It's like a utility pack.
Yeah, and this is just that. Like, if your kids are into like role playing, this is a great.
First
gift
of all,
for them.
let them be into role playing.
Yeah, let them play Skyrim.
Don't let them play Skyrim.
Let them play Skyrim.
It's got the Lost Oregonian maid in it.
They don't know how to read.
Teach your kids how to read, and then don't let them play Skyrim.
Skyrim is one of the best
Skyrim's
games
a great
ever
game,
made.
but make sure they're teenagers first. But
they're not going to know what's going on.
Play games with their friends, and don't make fun of them for it, because that's rude.
Yeah, I feel like kids these days are low-key being bullied by their parents for some of their interests.
Because
I feel like that's not cool.
It's a social media problem. I feel like you want your kids to be marketable for your Facebook pages, and you don't
get them clicks.
You don't want them to be nerds. Let your kid be a nerd.
I'm a nerd.
Me too. We're
huge
playing with Legos right now.
Yeah, I'm looking for pieces.
Let your kids have fun. Next up.
What we got?
Ryan's World Funhouse playset.
Skipped.
That man will not be getting any more free press from us. This is great.
Okay, I love this. Okay, it says Cybertruck. It says Cyberpunk. I thought it was a whole different thing. So, Tesla recently unveiled... Ooh, okay, never mind. Okay. I saw a price tag, and it was not accurate. So, okay, we haven't even announced what this is. It's a Hot Wheels Cybertruck RC car. And so, if you don't know, Tesla recently unveiled a Cybertruck.
2 sizes.
Yes, and they're different prices.
Yes.
They recently unveiled a pickup truck that is very geometric. In my opinion, it's very cool. I really like it. And this is, it's a Hot Wheels version of that. You can get a Hot Wheel or you can get an RC. The prices are going to vary. $20 for the Hot Wheel, which I think is honestly kind of a steal. It'll probably become a collector's item shortly. And it's $400 for the 1/10 scale RC truck.
Which drives up to 25 miles per hour. We loved Hot Wheels as kids.
Yes, we still have a huge collection somewhere.
Hot Wheels are fun. And, I mean, they're kind of timeless now.
Yeah, Hot Wheels are a huge collector's item, and honestly, if your kids are into cars at all...
Or if you're into cars.
Or if you're into cars, yeah. Go ahead and check it out. It seems pretty cool, not going to lie. RC cars were always one of my favorite gifts growing up. For the longest time, every Christmas I would get a new one. And I would kind of run it until the battery died and then forget about it. Because
you were a child.
Because I was a child, and that's how children work. That being said, I don't know what I was going to say after that.
Of course not,
but
because you're a child.
But yes, I have not grown up. That is facts.
It's not because it's a child. It's because he's not good at paying attention.
Yeah,
And he's really looking for these Legos.
I don't have ADHD or ADD, which are technically the same thing now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've heard.
He's not going to find out if you correct him.
It's just like one umbrella term now for just attention deficit disorder. The hyperactivity isn't a part of it anymore because kids these days are all hyperactive.
Yeah. Let them be.
Yeah, let your kids be kids. Why are we giving parenting advice? We're not parents.
Because we don't have any skin in the game. So we can say whatever we want because we don't actually have to deal with the repercussions.
Yeah, can we just talk about what type of podcast this is?
I don't know.
Because we clearly have no right. I mean, I guess we do kind of have a right to tell you what to buy. We were kids once. And we know what kids like. But we're not parents, and we're giving a lot of parenting advice.
This is less about what they should buy and more about what we liked as kids.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of true.
That was the idea.
That was the idea, but that's not how it was executed. We definitely talked a lot about,
that's pretty much how the podcast always goes.
Like, oh, you should get this, or you shouldn't get this. Definitely don't get your kids a PS5. Leave those for the adults.
Yeah, honestly.
That's not true. Although I did see a post recently.
On Reddit.
Was it? I don't know if it was on Reddit or not.
If it's the same post I'm thinking about, it was on Reddit.
But it was like, do any of you adults feel bad?
It was a Karen's post.
Yeah. Like, how dare you buy PS5s? Think about all the kids who aren't going to get one this year. Don't be that bitch. Let people buy PS5s. Oh, a bastard is something else.
Well, don't be one.
Yeah, just don't be a douche, guys.
You can't control if you were a bastard.
Okay. Like, if someone makes money and they choose to buy a PS5, let them do it.
But on the other hand, don't be a fucking dick and buy 6 of them and sell them on eBay.
Yeah.
It's too late to say that because people have already done it.
And it's the dumbest thing. It really is. And I feel like that's on PlayStation. They should have limited the number per person, but obviously they're just in it for the money because they're a company and that's what they do. I'm not trying to attack them in any way.
It's all about profits. And it happened with Xbox too. It happened with Switches when they launched. And it'll happen when anything launches ever because...
people are assholes.
People are assholes.
They just don't care about the greater good. They only care about themselves and they just want to make money. And they feel like the easiest way to do that is to just kind of...
take advantage of other people.
Yeah.
But that's not what this podcast is about.
So
let's look at the last toy, and then...
oh, that this was over.
No, there's one more. Join our membership.
Alright, like I said...
that's a shit toy. Don't get that for your kids.
Yeah, they can't even spell check their own website. Don't join them. So what were some of our... how long have we been recording this? I don't want to drag on too long.
This could be the extra special long episode. You wanted to go till my battery died.
It's only been 90 minutes.
Only been 90 minutes?
19 minutes.
Okay, well, so let's point out a few things wrong with that sentence. What he said was 90. What he meant was 19. And the problem is we had to cut for a brief section. And we have restarted. So it says 19 minutes. But there was a 39-minute section before this we recorded.
Oh, was it 39? I hadn't checked. Oh, I skipped like 4 pages.
So we're at about an hour.
Alright, so let's talk about what were some of... I mean, we could talk about the whole other section of... I mean, we kind of going to segue right into it. We're talking about PlayStation 5. Let's talk about video games.
Again?
No, we're not going to, rate video games. How do you feel about getting kids introduced to video games at a young age?
I think there's nothing wrong with letting kids play video games. I despise, and that's a strong word because obviously we've mentioned it before, we're not parents. We don't have any right to give you parenting advice. But I think parents who are like, oh, don't let the kid have screen time. First of all, stop being a boomer. Screens are inevitable. It's part of life now, and there's nothing wrong with exposing kids to that. But second of all, don't
get your kids off of Call of Duty. What the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
Do you know how annoying they are? Jesus Christ.
Don't let your kids do whatever the fuck they want. Any part of parenting
monitor them, guys.
Don't stalk your children, but keep track of what they're doing. Don't be that parent who goes to the store and their kid says, I want this, and then you pick it up and you buy it and you don't look at it. You have to be involved with your kids. I won't say now more than ever because you need to be involved with your kids and you've always needed to be involved with your kids. But screens are not an excuse for not parenting. You should give your kids video games and you should let them create a safe, carefully monitored online community of their friends who, especially now with quarantine, like their friends are through screens a lot. And that's just a part of what life is now. And you can't keep that away from children, but you shouldn't let them do it without supervision. It's like you wouldn't let your 6-year-old go play by themselves in a street. Don't let them go online by themselves until they know the dangers and they know how to be safe. You have to teach them first. But yeah, kids should be on screens.
Yeah, I feel like there are definitely some games. The games have a rating for a reason.
Look at those.
For sure. I mean, especially if it has an online aspect to it. If it's just blood and gore and you're okay with that, like Call of Duty, like a campaign or whatever, and you're okay with them being exposed to that, like they're mature enough to know that it's like in a video game and it's fake or whatever, and you choose to let them play that game, that's fine, that's awesome, good for you, you know their limits. But don't let them on the online aspect of that because people
are bullies.
People are bullies for sure, and they're assholes, and they will teach your kids poor
words they shouldn't know
behavior and bad words, no words. And I feel like you can't really control what other people are doing online, and so you need to just limit your child's access to playing online games. And maybe like let him play Minecraft online with his friends, sure. Let him play other games online with his friends, sure. But don't really let your 8-year-old or your 9-year-old go and play games with total strangers.
Don't let them run rampant on the internet. Which is, again, more parenting advice that we're not really in any way in positions to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just kind of pissed off that there's a bunch of little kids on my games.
Kids on Modern Warfare, I think Fortnite was a perfect teaching experience for why kids shouldn't be playing massive online games, because it just made so many 8-year-olds into toxic, terrible people.
Absolutely.
And like, there's a difference between being 17 and trolling somebody on a video game because it's funny and you don't take it too far and you know when to stop. And if you don't, well, shame on you for being a bad person. But if you're 8, you definitely don't know when to stop. And you don't stop on the internet. And that's why we got all those cringy videos of 8-year-olds fucking doing TikTok dances and Fortnite dances and shit. Because they don't know that it's something they're going to be incredibly embarrassed by in 6 years. And that it's not how you should act in public. They don't know any better. And Fortnite's awful.
I've never played Fortnite, so I'm not going to come to any brash conclusion. Brash?
Brash.
I said
brass. You said brass.
Like a trumpet.
Brass conclusion.
Brass. I'm not going to make a trumpet conclusion about this. But it's not a game for me. I can tell you that much. That's all I have to say. I'm concentrating on my Legos.
But let your kids play video games.
Yeah.
It's a part of life now. And, I mean, arcades are cool, and you played in them as a child, so let your kids play video games. Why did we bring that up?
I don't know. I'm just trying to make conversation. What were some of your favorite toys as a child?
I definitely liked some of the weird toys. Growing up, Tech Decks were great.
Tech Decks. Tech Decks. Get a Tech Deck.
Tech Decks are making a comeback, and I couldn't be happier.
Skateboarding's making a comeback.
Beyblades.
Beyblades. Tamagotchis. Tamagotchis really fun. Bakugan.
Do you remember those cube worlds?
Yeah, you could connect them, and then they could visit and stuff.
Interact with each other. Screen time before screens were very big. Bakugan, I think Tyler mentioned already.
Yes.
Nerf guns.
Nerf guns for sure.
Just things that let you be social, I think, were really part of our childhood because, like Tyler said, there were 3 of us. I mean, like we've mentioned a bunch of times because, it's just part of our existence was being brothers. It was better to have toys that you could play with your brothers with. And especially toys like Nerf guns or Bakugan or Beyblade where they came out with multiple versions at a time. And granted, those versions are mostly just color differentiations. It makes it better and more fun to play when you get to have something that's more or less the same, but also special to yourself.
Yeah, it was always nice to be able to have your own little thing. Like, so that way, I mean, it sucks to say this, but it's true, so that way you know they're not taking yours. You could be like, no, I had the green one, you had the blue one.
Exactly.
That being said, I feel like the toys kind of never went away, they just transitioned. And so, like, obviously we got more into, like, board games as we grew up. But we also got into, like, card games. So, like, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and eventually Magic the Gathering. If your kid wants to be into that, get them, like, a nice, cheap starter pack, because that can be an expensive hobby. But it's just that it's a hobby. And I feel like if they want to be into it, you should give them the opportunity. And obviously, you know your kid's personality. You're going to know if they're just going to, like, give up on something after a day.
I will say, while we're here, Magic cards are surprisingly affordable.
Yes, now more so than ever.
So,
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know either.
I doubt it.
Honestly. I doubt it because of inflation and shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
But it's a fun way to let your kids do something that you can also be a part of, and especially because there are rules involved, and it's fun. At least I had fun as a kid learning something new that I could then teach my parents. You know, because when you're a kid, a lot of your life is people are teaching you things and you have to pay attention even if you already know something because they're adults and they're smart. When you got a new toy that was kind of involved and then your parents just kind of let you learn it and then you could bring it back and you could be like, hey, look, Mom, look, Dad, look what I learned how to do. And then they could pretend or genuinely be interested in what you were doing. Like, that was fun as a kid. And I think you should let your kids do that. This has become very much parental advice. So while we're here, I'll say we had a great childhood. And I think that's why this has become so parental is because, like, obviously we had friends, believe it or not. And we still do. And, like, their childhoods were so different from ours. And some of it is, like, it's so nonsensical to us. And we, like, bring it up and we're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. But, like, that's just how it is for some kids. Like, sometimes their parents would, like, do their Legos with them, and they didn't like that, or they did like that. And I think Christmas time is a good time to, like, get your kids things and then let them be interested in what they're interested in and get things that are for the whole family to enjoy and just kind of be together as a family. And that's what this podcast turned into.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I know the person that this is addressing isn't going to hear this podcast. But if your son wants a Barbie,
get him a goddamn Barbie.
And you're too ashamed to get him a Barbie, or you think he needs, like, a fucking drill or something.
Don't get him a drill.
Shame on you, first of all.
You fucking suck.
Don't get a kid a power tool. Second of all...
Power tools are not toys, except when they are.
Second of all, yeah, when you're older, they become toys, and that's really fun. But I get sidetracked. Let your son have a Barbie. Let him experience.
Let your daughter have fucking Power Rangers.
Or power tools.
Don't get your children power tools.
I feel like it's not the worst thing you could get them. You could get them gonorrhea. Thank you so much. This has been Conversations Over Who the Fuck Knows.
I think we could call this conversation over a while ago.
Yeah, this conversation ended a minute ago.
Thanks for listening to the first and hopefully not final conversation over in the same room.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. And by comments, I mean Instagram DMs.
And Twitter.
Or on Snapchat.
Just let us know if you have our
Someone reach out to me. I'm lonely.
At Carrot Ray on Twitter and on Instagram.
I don't have Twitter. But I'm on Instagram, TyRay611. You can find me there, drop a follow. I'll probably follow you back even if I don't know you because that's just kind of what I do. Unless you're creepy. No pedophiles, please.
You're an adult then, they're not pedophiles.
Yeah, but I look pretty young.
Fair enough. I don't know if that last bit's going to be in, but...
No. Cut it out.
Okay.
Peace.
Like we said, this conversation's over, and this conversation is over.